What's up to whoever might be watching? My name's Justine. In today's video, I am going to be listening to an album that you guys have highly recommended to me. Earlier this year, I checked out the band Slipknot for the first time, and I've listened to a few singles from them. Ever since listening to them and introducing them on my channel, you guys have told me that I have to check out Slipknot's self-titled album that is called Slipknot. It is their debut album. This is the most highly requested Slipknot album that you guys have told me to check out. Well, you guys said to start here and then go into Iowa, I believe, so that is what I'm here to do today. Also, if you watch my videos, I'm going to try to do a little bit of a new intro because everyone always tells me that they don't know about other certain things that I do, so I just want to make sure to let you guys know what I do. I also do have a clothing brand. My brand is called Strangers. You can check it out on Instagram. It is Shop Strangers. Check out the website is www.shopstrangers.co. I also stream on Twitch. My Twitch is www.twitch.tv/JustineLugo. And then if you guys want to interact with me more, come say hi over on Instagram. It is just at Justine Lugo. I will have everything linked in the description if you guys want to come hang out and interact with me more. But I think I'm going to start mentioning that in videos because I feel like a lot of people don't know that I stream and also have a clothing brand. So I'm going to try to be more vocal about it. So if you didn't know, now you know. And if you did know, but yeah, today's video, I'm super excited to hop into Slipknot's album, so no more talking, let's just hop in and see what we think. It looks like this album is 15 songs for 50 minutes. It was released June 12th, 1999. 1999 is my birth year. What I want to just give a quick disclaimer before we hop into this is that the few Slipknot videos that I have done in the past, I have had a lot of issues with copyright. Might have to cut out most of the songs and only just play short little parts of the songs, because if I leave too much in, the video will get blocked and I won't be able to upload it and you guys won't be able to watch it. As best as I can, I will try to get some bits and pieces of the songs in. Let's go ahead and dive into the first track. It is called 74261700027. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Okay, that was definitely just an intro song to like introduce the album. Kind of almost sounds like an old radio when it's not on the exact right station. Interesting. Let's go ahead and hop into the next track, which is called Sick. You can't kill me because I'm already inside you. This is just like a bang of a track to just like hop into after the introduction. What I noticed immediately on this track is just the intense percussion. After doing my last few Slipknot videos, I have read up a little bit more on Slipknot and some of their members just to kind of get more of an understanding. I believe though with most of this album, the heavy drums and like what you're specifically hearing on the tracks is actually Joey Jordison. Instrumental's super hectic, a lot going on, but then the vocals come through and complement it just right. Next song, which is called Eyeless, and this is another track that I have gotten quite a few comments on, so I'm intrigued to see what this one's about. What I'm noticing is that even though there's so much intenseness going on, Corey Taylor's voice is very clear and you can understand what he's saying very clearly. I do have the lyrics on Spotify up, so I'm kind of reading along a little bit, but there's times where I'm just kind of listening and focusing on what I'm hearing. I feel like a lot of times when there's like a lot of screaming and a lot of rage, sometimes the lyrics can get a bit lost, but he does a really, really good job with having his delivery be very clear. Now let's hop into Wait and Bleed. This track is a little bit different because Corey Taylor actually sings more in this song, and I think you can actually hear how pretty his voice is in this song, whereas the other songs, it's very intense and you already know he's got like the screaming down and he's got vocal range, but to hear his voice in a little bit of a different light, it's really nice to hear. I actually really like this one. It gives a bit of a different vibe than the other ones. They do a really good job like showing you that there's other emotions they can portray besides rage. I really like this song. This was done really well. Next track we have is Surfacing. This song's a lot more filled with rage and intenseness, and it's just the instruments are hectic and just everything about this song I love. This song immediately jumps out to me as just like a moshing song. Like, this is just a song that people are going to go crazy over when they hear it performed live. And I especially like the lyrics. I feel like it just brings that like perfect blend of like rage and hopelessness and feeling like an outsider and feeling like you don't belong. All those emotions combined and just the rage that like you can let out while listening to this song. Next we have Spit It Out.
Did you never give a damn in the first place? Maybe it's time you were the tables turned. Cause in the interest of all involved, they got the problem solved. And the furnace culture, yeah, they'll go like that. When you've had a try to stop, drop, and roll. You want down from the kick, open the front of it. Time I set this record straight. All the needles, nothing is making me irate. Sticking my finger falling under fears. Where you gonna be in the next 5 years? Hey, I'm all out of enemies. Fuck me. I'm all out of enemies. Fuck me. I'm all out of enemies. Fuck me.
This song is very interesting because this song has a lot of different elements all put together that you wouldn't necessarily think would go together, but they do go together really well. The song had really great riffs and great vocals as well. Everything comes together so well. This is really a unique track. Next we have Tattered and Torn. When the song first came on, I'm slowly trying to process like what I'm listening to, what I'm hearing, what's all being thrown at me. But I'm instantly drawn to it because it just gives me this like creepy horror type feel to it. I feel like this is like the song that would be playing in like a fucking murder scene. I feel like this song would kind of stray people away, and I feel like that's what makes me drawn to it because it's so different. The sound of it just like screams pain and chaos. I really liked it. I enjoyed this one a lot. Next song we have is Me Inside.
From all emotions, life is just too fucking hard. Now your face was all it took, cause this needing doing me no good. Fall on my face, but can't you see this fucking life is telling mine.
This song with the lyrics gives a very, very clear painted picture of someone who is just feeling crazy inside, broken inside. A lot of people can relate to this. Same thing with this track, brought the energy, brought the chaos, and the lyrics on top of everything just like really complemented it. Next song we have is Liberate. The ending of this track was just the perfect cherry on top. His screams at the end were just so intense. I feel like a lot of people don't actually give the right recognition that is deserved for what it takes to be able to like scream like that. How do I say it? That is like screaming, and when it's done right is one of like my favorite things about music. I really like screaming. I really like intenseness. I like rage. And the end of this song was just like music to my ears. Next song we have is Prosthetics. So that one had kind of more of like a slower, more minimal start to it, but it gradually built up. The lyrics on this song are a little bit interesting. Music is not supposed to be taken too literally. I feel like it's supposed to be an exaggeration of emotions and stuff like that. This was an interesting track. Next we have No Life. So sometimes I'm a little hesitant to give my personal interpretations of songs because music is subjective. It can mean whatever it means to you. Who knows what the artist and the band is really trying to convey except for themselves. But to me, this song kind of, with the lyrics and everything, sounded like someone who is in a bad life situation. Obviously, with the lyrics repeating, this is no kind of life, this is no kind of life. To me, this song kind of just seemed like someone who is in a shitty life situation and they are trying to get out. To me, it just kind of seemed like someone who felt kind of like stuck in their situation and trying to get out, and really just emphasizing the unhappiness that they are feeling in whatever it is that they are dealing with. Next track, we have Diluted. Just when he's like screaming, "What did I do to deserve all this?" Again, I'm gonna kind of make a little interpretation. When I hear the lyrics, it reminded me and it took me back to a mindset that I was in when I was struggling really bad with anxiety and depression, and kind of just feeling like you're being like eaten alive by your own mind. It's funny because in my real life, I'm not really a person who like lets emotions out with like rage and anger, and I think that's why I appreciate it so much in music, because it's the only time I can really get those emotions out of me. Slipknot does a great job of getting those emotions out in a way that we can all relate to. Next song is Only One.
tongue, get back and get stung. Idiotic sense of yourself, are you that dumb? Diluted me, solitary in the world. Filthy ass, stay away from my painful cries. That this fight can be
With those lyrics, I picture this song being about two people fighting to the death. Honestly, sounds awesome. It's just intense, instruments going hard as always, as that has been a very, very common theme in this album, just like the percussion and the instruments just being flawless. Second to last track, we have Scissors.
just now. Want to I can feel I wasn't very much fun to be with anyway. Just let the blood run right, but I got fell.
This song, holy crap, it is intense. There is just so much going on in this song. It is so long, but there's so much that is being thrown at the listener that even though this song is like 8 minutes or however long it is, it keeps you entertained and intrigued the whole time. The middle of the song, where it just is complete madness and there's just so much going on. Corey Taylor's voice during that like midway point of the song is so raw and primal. Also, Corey Taylor's approach to this song is very interesting too, because at some points it doesn't sound like he's even necessarily obviously singing or rapping. He's just really talking, but just talking in this very like raspy, grungy voice. So that gives like a very interesting element to the song. I feel like I'm going to have to listen to it a few times to really like wrap my head around everything that I just heard. Last song we have on the album before we give our final thoughts is Eeyore. This is a great way to close out the album because I just feel like it gives the emphasis of like the chaos of the album, the rage in the album, the intense reoccurring theme of not giving a fuck. That was a pretty solid way to wrap up everything. Let's talk about the album now. I honestly feel like this is one of the most intense, chaotic album that I have probably ever listened to. To just know that this was created over 20 years ago, I feel like back then this was kind of more of like the starting point of just this like intense, over the top madness, chaotic music. This really paved the way for a lot of other people wanting to do similar type of things. You can just tell that this is really just a project that pushed the boundaries of music, and hearing it 20 years plus after it came out, it still holds up really well. It still surprised me. It still impressed me. It entertained me every step of the way through. This is definitely one of the most raw and primal projects that I've ever heard in my life. At the same time, even though I'm saying that this album was pure madness, it was done in such a nice way. So when I say that, I mean that with the most intense respect, and I mean that in a very compliment way. It's really cool to listen as an avid music lover 20 years later and really get to hear something that was so influential at the time that it came out and is still so influential. If anything, I just feel like this album has become even more iconic, but it's really cool to listen to, and I'm glad that I listened to it at this point in my life because I feel like I can give it the proper respect and admiration that it deserves. Music is a huge part of my life. I love music. Music literally saved my life. I don't know what I would do without music, and I've really been interested in going back and just listening to all these works of arts that have really paved the way for music nowadays and that have been staples in their genres. And I'm really glad that I got to review this. I loved it. Everything about this was just awesome, to say the very least. Yeah, well, that is pretty much it for today's video. I cannot wait to hop into more Slipknot. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.